I would say this segment of what I'm trying to talk about is taking a bit longer than I wanted it to, but every single segment is going to take longer than I want it to. There's so much to say when you're talking about freedom of speech. Duh. Right? So let's listen to more of Mark Maron lose his tiny little mind and just confuse himself into, because it's always going to be confusing to someone like him, because he's starting with the premise that what he thinks is what everyone thinks when it isn't. And his little bubble is actually the whole world, and these are the times, and we should be moving with the times. He doesn't understand that people were never really on board with your crap. We tolerated it for a bit because we thought you would eventually just stop for some reason. But we've all realised you're not going to stop, and you're getting cultural pushback.
Not how you frame it as anything other than.
But I think it's an outward vocalization of the time. You know, I just went and saw Ricky Gervais at the Hollywood Bowl.
What a bore.
No, brilliant.
Loved it.
I loved it.
All right, go ahead.
Fucking brilliant.
All right.
Fucking brilliant. And he talked about kind of like this on stage. I think this new show is called Mortality. And he talked about, you know, what we are appalled at or what we think is stupid is all about the time. And this is what I'm talking about, our cultural shift. We're not shifting it, it's shifting.
We're not shifting it, it's shifting. The times. It's a cultural time. It's times changing. Do you know what I mean? Both of them are talking this nonsense. Even Ricky Gervais, he's quoting Ricky Gervais saying, oh yeah, well, this is the times. It's the times, the times, the times.
He goes like, listen, right now, everybody talks, the worst thing you can be is a racist. You know, you can't, you can't, you know, and it is right now. I mean, if that's probably the number one negative.
I don't think that's true. I think that maybe since he's written that show, the screw is turned. It doesn't seem to be the most negative thing at all. But we have a president who's a racist. And he's very popular.
He's not identified as one, though.
Well, how much digging do you have to do? Get me on a computer. I can do it in 2 clicks.
No, I know, but half the country doesn't agree with you.
So it's not the biggest problem, is it?
It's if you call him that, it's incredibly.
People call him that every day.
I know, and they are hating it.
Who is?
The people that are following that side.
That side. That side. Yeah, the right-wing side. You see, they have to be a bit vague. They can't really actually say what they're really saying because it's blatantly just a left-wing dominance of just the lefties are trying to censor you. Like I said earlier, this is what I've been saying the whole time. The left has to erase the right to make themselves relevant. Otherwise, they just disappear into obscurity because everyone just goes, what is that crap? When you've got... If you just had equal amounts of right-wing media and left-wing media, the right-wing media would win like everyone over. I hate to break this to you. This is the truth. I've just been going on about this for like hours now. About how you've tried to squash out all right-wing things. Everything right-wing is bad, and everything that's bad is right-wing, even when it's not right-wing. And we're just squashing out right-wing so that everything's left-wing. And then we still have to complain about how the right-wing just still pierces through and just still takes over. And now they're making trans jokes. And oh no, the right-wing is not all about making trans jokes. You were obsessed with making everyone accept transgenderism. And we went, what the fuck is that? And why are you making the rules? But yeah, the left don't just try and take over. They are just self-aware enough to know that they have to be deceitful. They're just self-aware enough to know that they can't just outright come out and go, look guys, we're in charge now and you're going to do what we say. Because they know that they will expose themselves as the fascists that they are. So they're just self-aware enough to know that they have to be deceitful and sort of deny that they're doing what they're doing all the time. I mean, you just heard Mark Maron say it earlier in the clips that I'm showing. Like, you're not being censored. It's not a free speech issue. I mean, yeah, maybe it's pretty bad how we cancelled you. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But we're not doing that. They always admit what they're doing as they deny it. It's just unreal. It's called lying. It's called gaslighting. just a quick little lesson, because I know that people just use these words like gaslighting and projection, and they don't really know what they mean most of the time. What gaslighting actually is, a lie is when you say something that isn't true and you're trying to hide the truth. So you're trying to convince someone of something that isn't true. And the best way to convince them is to hide the truth. You can't just say the lie. You have to hide the truth. But gaslighting is when you actually show someone the truth, but just carry on lying anyway. So you know that the person you're lying to actually knows that you're lying. Because you see, the point of gaslighting isn't to deceive or convince anyone of your lie. Like I said, lying is just when you try and cover up the truth with a lie. I don't want you to know the truth. I want you to believe the lie. But gaslighting isn't really about trying to convince anyone. It's about obedience. It's about dominance. To gaslight someone is to literally hold the truth right in front of their face and go, you can't see that. No, you can't. It's not there. It's not there because I say it's not there. It's all about total dominance. It's totally a power trip thing to gaslight people. To literally admit what you're being accused of while denying it. To show someone what they said they thought they saw and tell them, you're not seeing that. You're crazy. It's like, you're just going to obey me. You're going to obey my lies. Whether you believe them or not is irrelevant. I don't care what you believe. You're just going to obey what I say. And this is like just built into this kind of types of people that want to dominate you and control everything you say are the same people that are going to gaslight you. I mean, it just goes hand in hand. So, of course, they're going to deny that they're trying to silence you, control what you think, control what you say. They're not just going to come out and go, I'm in charge, you do what I say, because they know that you'll reject that. They sort of assume that you're already going to obey and go, well, no, you just go along with it. I know that you know I'm wrong, but you're going to act like I'm right because I said so. So, yeah, this is what he says, isn't it? He just goes, no one's cancelling you. Yeah, it's just pretty bad that we cancel you. But it's not like you're getting cancelled. It's not like you're going to prison just because I did something pretty bad. It could have been worse. And it's just second nature to these types of people. That's why you've got both of them sitting there talking about exactly what's going on, but still talking about it like they don't know what's going on. And they sort of refer to things like, yeah, you know, that side. They won't even acknowledge that this is a left and right thing because it sort of highlights who's who and like what's going on. So they're just speaking these sort of vague terms. It's all to sort of conceal and confuse what's really going on. They obviously know better. So it's Mark Maron, and he's being interviewed by Howie Mandel, and Howie Mandel is quoting Ricky Gervais. So all three of these people are like left-wing. Mark Maron is like a hardcore leftist, but the other two are just left-wing, right? And they're having to talk in these vague terms, like, oh yeah, you know, like the other side, the people that go, you know, that way, you know, people that are like not with, they're anti-woke, anti-Mark Maron, and people trying to control things. Yeah. You know, he just states that Trump is a racist as if that's a fact. And Mark Maron is saying that racism doesn't seem to be such a big issue to people because we have a racist president and no one cares. And then Howie Mandel says, you know, you can call him racist, but it doesn't actually mean he's racist. And Mark Maron's like, plenty of people have called him racist. It doesn't do anything. He's having to complain about how ineffectual he and his kind are. Plenty of people have called him racist and it doesn't make a difference. It's like, yeah, because no one believes you. We know that you just call everything racist. It doesn't matter how many of you have called people on the other side racist. We're just going to ignore you now. We're moving on without you. You're getting cultural pushback. And don't get it twisted. Don't get it muddled up. It's not that you were winning the culture. You were winning. You were on top. You were leading the way. And then there's been this change. Like there's some change. Something's happened and it's going the other way. No, you were taking over. And it's like when like I said, like I keep saying about going to the beach. Some people really want to go to the beach. Some people really don't want to go to the beach. Most people will just go to the beach if everyone's going to the beach. Is that what everyone's doing? Oh, we're going to the beach. Yeah, let's go to the beach then. Oh, no one's going to the beach. Okay, we won't go to the beach. That's actually how most people are. And most people are also like this when something's happening that they don't like. Like, imagine if like a fight breaks out in a bar. You're just happily having a drink with your friends and a fight breaks out like over there on the other side of the bar. Really what happens is your instinct kicks in. You're like, oh, something's kicking off. It's like, it's all happening. And you sort of you get fight or flight. Like, do we like run away or do we try and get involved? But before you do either of those things, you actually wait for a moment. Really, our first instinct is to wait for someone else to sort it out. You kind of just go, oh, is someone going to stop that? Like, before you think about trying to stop it, you go, is someone going to stop that? Is a bouncer going to come over? The security going to come and sort this out? Anything happening that you don't like, you always look at it and go, oh, is someone going to go and sort that out? But if you see that no one's going to sort it out and it gets really out of hand, then you go, I better do something, right? So when the lefties just try and take over and try and control everything and do all of this shit, most people don't like it. A lot of people aren't even aware of it, but once everyone becomes aware of it, most people go, what the fuck is up with these thought police? What the fuck is up with woke cancel culture? Is anyone going to stop them? Is anyone going to tell them that they're not in charge? Who the fuck are these people? And everyone just sort of sits there and waits for someone to like stop you. And then when they realise that no one's going to stop you, then everyone else gets engaged. They get involved and start reacting to you. And that's why you're getting so many comedians now just going up and doing trans jokes. And I know it's repetitive and it is hacky and it is like, oh, is everyone just going to do the same thing? It's like, no, but they're all just sort of catching on that they need to rebel against you. And they're all just doing it in the same way. So nothing's really changing. It's just you tried to take over and no one stopped you. So you thought everyone wanted you to be in charge. Whereas really everyone's just sitting there going, oh, is anyone going to stop these cunts? Is anyone going to stop these fucking maniacs that think they're in charge of the world? And no one really stopped you for a while. So eventually everyone gets involved. And this change that you're seeing happening isn't a change. It's people that have always hated you actually getting the confidence and the inclination to respond. But anyway, let's carry on listening to the clip.
Well, I'm just saying that the premise is faulty.
Well, let me tell you that, but let me finish the premise. The premise is whatever you believe is a racist move. If he Ricky Gervais lived 100 years ago and bought 100 slaves, he's an aristocrat. He's not a racist. He would be applauded for owning a plantation and being that, and because he doesn't live there.
Well, we're coming close to that again. So I still think the timing's off.
But the point is, right now, if somebody tried to buy 100 slaves and had, African American people working
here, it's going to be Mexicans, or it's going to be white people.
No, the Mexicans are being thrown out right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, until they create a new cast of people that'll fill those jobs. I mean, it does. I don't want to get into politics.
Go ahead.
No,
I don't mind.
I just.
See, look, there he goes again. Mark Maron just can't help. He doesn't even know he's doing it. He's like, he believes his own lies. This is the other thing about gaslighting is the gaslighter, just go, look, this is the truth that we're going to accept. Doesn't matter if it's convincing or not. So he goes, I don't want to get into politics. As if he hasn't been talking about a political issue this entire time. Because this is what the left do, is they act like everyone thinks like them. Their bubble is the world. And this is just the Times. Their way of doing things is the Times. And that's all he's been talking about for the past half an hour. He's just been talking about how he thought the Times were like this, but then we got this new movement of radical right-wingers that are trying to sabotage that. He actually called it cultural pushback when they were getting cancelled, rather than cultural pushback when the cancellers got told to fuck off. And after talking about that all of this time, and after referring to the other side and anti-woke because he won't say left and right because he's not talking about politics. Then he got a little bit too into it and went, oh, I don't want to talk about politics. Like as if we're not talking about politics. It's just insane. It's in complete insanity. And then Howie Mandel was trying to quote Ricky Gervais and this whole thing about if you owned slaves 100 years ago, you wouldn't be racist, but now you would. Actually, no, this is your stupid view about the times changing. It just doesn't work. 100 years ago, if you owned slaves, you were racist even back then. Just because people didn't call it. These people are obsessed with what you call things. They're like, oh yeah, we wouldn't have called it that back then. Would have just been normal back then. No, someone realised it was racist and bad back then. How do you think slavery ended? Like, actually ask yourself that. Do you think that the slaves rose up and went, we're not going to be slaves anymore, and like fought their way out of it? No, that's not what happened. White people had a war against other white people, saying we're not going to do that anymore. And they went, yeah, we are. And then they had a war. And then Mark Maron totally contradicts himself and says that people want to have slaves again now and they're going to do it with the Mexicans. And then Howie Mandel goes, no, we're going to get rid of the Mexicans and chuck them out the country. And he's like, yeah, that. Totally contradicts what he just said. And someone's going to have to fill those jobs. This is so funny. This reminds me, I don't really like writing political jokes. I don't really want to be a political comedian, all right? I don't really want to make all my jokes about politics. Mainly because I want my funny stuff to be timeless. I don't want to just talk about cultural things that are happening right now. I want to sort of talk about broader things. But sometimes I accidentally write a political joke. I've written one. Ready? Do you want to hear it? Of course you do. Here's my political joke for today. The right-winger says, all of these immigrants are stealing our jobs. And the left-winger says, no one's stealing your job. You're just racist. You just hate other people that aren't like you, that are from somewhere else. You just hate everyone. You're racist. No one's trying to steal your job. No one's taking your jobs. The right-winger says, we're going to deport all of these immigrants. And the left-winger says, no, you can't get rid of them. They do all the jobs. Now, if you don't get that joke, you're probably a left-winger.
And are less now because the dominant cultural force is now slightly fascistic and leaning towards alienating those voices. So now that we've crossed that hump into what we are now, aren't you just kicking someone when they're down and just being a hack? Because there is no real progressive pushback anymore. They've won. Right. So that side has won. They've won culture. They've won the presidency. And now you have a lot of frightened people that believe in what was once democracy in terms of respecting all types of people. That's kind of gone.
So you're fascistic and you're alienating voices of, I don't know, trans people or something and kicking them when they're down when you don't let Mark Maron be in charge anymore. Because this is what the left do. They always pretend that they are just sticking up for some minority. The reality of what's going on here is Mark Maron is the fascist that wants to control you. And then when you don't let him anymore, he's like, oh, I guess you won. I guess the culture is leaning into fascism now. You're a fascist for trying to stop the fascist. Really what he's saying is, how dare you alienate his voice? But his voice isn't just his voice. It's him. His control, his rule of law. How dare you disobey that? You must be a fascist. Ridiculous. Anyway, finally, I'm going to move on from this comedians banning each other thing. I'm going to get into the COVID lockdown 2020 and onwards, starting from now.